So this right here is our 1973 Monte Carlo, and we just drove this thing to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, down to Run to the Sun Car Show 2025. It did super good. That's about 300 miles away from us, and it did good 90% of the time. You know, we just got done doing the seats in this car and stuff. It looks pretty nice. Yeah, we put wheels and tires on it. Actually, sandblasted wheels, put tires on it. It looks presentable. You know, it looks better on camera than in real life. It was actually kind of surprising how many people liked this car down there. I think it's because this was like the commuter car back in the day, and nobody's seen one of these in probably 25 years. So they was kind of surprised that it's still kicking. So yeah, we were super glad we took this to Run to the Sun, because the whole weekend it was kind of shifting funny. You know, like you'd be putting along, and it would kind of like struggle to get into gear, like shifting to like 2-3 or 1-2. One of the gears, and it would kind of struggle, and then it would just slam into gear, and it did that all weekend until it progressively got worse and worse. And then we was punting along on the way home, and all of a sudden it started to do it. I was like, okay, I know what it's doing because I've already got used to it. So I let off the gas because there's no point to be accelerating when it's going to slam the gear like that. And it slammed in the gear like usual one final time, and then following it slamming, there was this huge like mechanical explosion sound that sounded like you just dropped a bunch of fine china plates into a garbage disposal. Yeah, so we tried to look at it. Of course, there's not much to look at because it's all internal, and we just decided to drive it home, see how far we could get. We got it home, you know, obviously because it's right here on the lift, getting ready to get the transmission tore out of it. But yeah, we did manage to get it home, like I just said. Wasn't very happy about it. The whole time it's just clattering and chattering, and it sounded terrible, like while accelerating. But it did get us home, and as far as I know, it still has all gears. Like it shifted 1, 2, 3 the whole way home. It just didn't sound very thrilled with doing it. But I am going to attempt to try to pull this transmission out because it's getting relatively close to power tour, and we want this thing to go, obviously, so I'm going to try to have it rebuilt while he's gone. Luckily enough, this may be oversharing, but I don't really care. This 85 C10 up there, which we built the motor for, and then the transmission started slipping and stuff, so we put a 700 in it. We had a guy rebuild it. A guy here in town actually recommended a guy up on the mountain. Him and his daughter rebuilt it. That's been about 3.5 years now. That transmission is still super nice in it. It's not acted up once. And turns out I'm dating the guy's daughter now. So if you think about it, we paid about $2,000 to have a really good transmission. Now I got a girlfriend out of it. But that's probably who's going to rebuild it. So I got to get this thing out so I can send it to them. Oh, and we need a new 1973 tag too, by the way. In North Carolina, we can actually run like period correct tags like this as an actual tag. So we're doing that, but this one's starting to peel and stuff. So if you have one of those and you want to donate it to the channel, a little bit worried that I was gonna have to drop not transmission. Obviously I'm dropping the transmission, but exhaust, even if I did, that's fine. We just had this loose. We're gonna fix a transmission leak while we're here. How does this cross member work? I just gotta come loose so I get a torque converter bolt. So this is relatively, oh, I bet the starter has to come loose. That sucker's heavy. Where's the modulate valve? Yeah, we'll start with this. This is the journey of 1,000 bolts and nuts starts with one vacuum hose. Why are these a different size? That'd be a lot easier to get out. Is that plastic? What? That is plastic. I thought these were metal. On square bodies, they're metal. 70s were hard times, but I didn't know it was that hard of a time. Ugh. Okay. My fingers are too slippery. There's the linkage. Ow! I tried to put the pin back in and it shot at me. Oops. Oh! I didn't think about that. Just a quick observation, other than that there's like a film on this camera lens. I've never seen a torque converter with a drain plug in it before. That's pretty interesting. And I already got this one moved. I think there's 3 of these. That hurts. That hurts real bad. There we go. So I'm taking not the bottom 2 of the bell housing bolts loose. I'm just trying to get the ones down here. I can get these bottom 2. I will get out when I am able to let this lift down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this lift all the way down. I'm going to climb under here with the transmission jack that's over there. I'm going to support this, and then I'm going to take everything loose back here. Go and take all the transmission bell housing bolts out. Then got to support the motor, of course. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift the car up off of it once it's free. So I'm not taking these lower 2 out, that way it doesn't fall on me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I just crawled up and laid on this, whatever that thing is. So all the bolts are out from up top, so now only thing holding it in is those 2 lower bolts and the transmission cross member, which is good because I'm going to leave those until I'm fully ready to remove this transmission. And I just called my dad. We were both equally confused about the kickdown cable because I just went back and watched the video. That's the plus of recording everything you do, is when I replaced this carburetor on it, I did not take loose a kickdown cable. And I've always been under the assumption is when you have a modulator valve, that is what controls your shifts, not the kickdown cable or TV cable. And I may be getting those 2 confused too. Either way, I've got to find where that cable is routed to. Because right now it looks like it's just curled up on top of that transmission, like zip tied somewhere. Because it's not coming up here anywhere. So I'm sure some of y'all were yelling at the camera a while ago. But I did figure out the TV cable and a kickdown cable are 2 different things. A TV cable is only for like 700 and 200 R4s, 350s, which is what this one is. The kickdown cable is for when like you're going up a hill and there's a lot of load on the engine. And the vacuum's kind of funky, I guess. And it needs the cable to... I guess like when you step into it to kick down the transmission. That's what that's for. So I'm sure at some point that'll need to be hooked up. Right now I'm not worried about it. That's just something I need to watch when I drop the transmission. And speaking of that, my sister just showed up. So it is time to, I guess, drop the transmission. So I think it's ready. So I'm going to throw a transmission jack up underneath this thing and start going at it. Where am I at? There's no way to tighten the ratchet strap just because of the way the car is, because it's going to be up in there. There's just no way. So that's the way that is. But this is loose because I took those out right there. All the bell housing bolts are out. Now this cross member needs to come this way like that, and it also needs to drop 14 pounds of crap on my eyes. Oh, that's still not gonna clear, is it? Can it come all the way out? I don't know. Maybe it'll clear. I don't know. Where did that come from? Okay. Well, it's coming. Can we go forward? No, of course not. You need to get out of the way. Thank you. Oh, and I got a dipstick tube that might be causing chaos too up there. I didn't get that out, but that should have been an issue by now if it was going to be. One to ponder. Yeah, that still needs to be addressed. Right down there is that kickdown cable that I need to figure out what it wants to do. I need to figure that out. But look, that dipstick tube came out no issue. Here's why I didn't see it when I looked in here the first time. That cable right there, the lower grommet, that's the kickdown cable going inside to the interior. I was like, why is that going inside? Instead of attach it to the carburetor, they just attached it to the, well, you can't see. They attached it to the pedal itself. Isn't that interesting? So how does that come on? Okay, there's that. I think that's it. And in theory, this is all we got to do. Should probably go check that, see if it's good. But I think it's good. We have a transmissionless Monte Carlo. That would have been awkward. How do I close that now? What does it look like?
Clean.
It is. Get to the phone. Yeah. It moves again. We got 2 new garage cats. I haven't told y'all that. Anyways, transmission's done. Had it rebuilt $1,400 later, and now it is time to see if we can drive this thing to Little Caesars and get some of that the pretzel crust pizza. That stuff is pretty good, so we're gonna see if we can make it there. That was smooth. That's smooth. That's what we wanted. Good.
I thought it was going to jerk our necks back.
No, that's the other one.
Oh, yeah. We didn't do that to this one.
That's to make it spin all the way through second and then
Check your brakes before you get up there close.
Feel good.
Okay. That felt good.
Yeah.